Please welcome 2018 Chairman Kendall Alley from Wells Fargo.
Good evening. What he said. I want to open by acknowledging and congratulating Johnny Harris on this tremendous honor of being the Citizen of the Carolinas, which he helped create. I had the opportunity to work with Johnny on the Wells Fargo Championship, and I cannot go with everything that was said in the video. His vision, his command for excellence, his requirement, and he makes everybody around him better, and he makes Charlotte better. Johnny, thank you very much for what you do. I also want to thank Andrea Smith for a tremendous job she had this year as a chamber chairperson. If we think back on the year with what started with the civil unrest, we had our HB2 challenges continue. She put in a tremendous amount of time, effort, and energy and did a phenomenal job as leader. So Andrea, thank you so much for what you do every day. Now, Andrea doesn't get to go anywhere because my goal is to make her the highest used past chairman in the history of the chamber, because she and I are aligned in where we're going, as she commented. You know, the tough thing for Bob every year is he gets a new chairperson. And so he gets a new boss, a new idea. And so what Andrea and I discussed was how do we transition that theme year to year so that we can be consistent and work to make Charlotte the absolute best that we can make it. This year's theme is All In. Now, we're starting All In tonight with some friends of ours, first on Facebook Live, glad to have you in the streaming there, but also at Blackfin in Ballantyne. They're out having a little bit of fun and opportunity and hanging out with us. There they are. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed. All the drinks are on Andrea. So as we think about our year and what we're doing, this is an example of the way we're working at the Chamber to connect, innovate, and grow Charlotte. That's your Chamber's mission. And what we're including and working to do is to make us substantially better. But the key about that, and if you look at the Chamber mission, it says specifically, growing opportunities for all who do business in Charlotte. Now, the goal for the Chamber, in my opinion, is to be seen by everyone in Charlotte. Well, like Johnny just talked about, our opportunity to help all is for everyone in Charlotte to believe that the Chamber has been an advocate and made a difference in their life. So when I think about All In, I think about something that Hugh McCall said to me years ago. If you're going to live in a city, why wouldn't you make it the best city you could possibly be in? And what a great statement. We live in a great city, and a great place. But let's think back over the last year. The racial protest, the concerns we have, the Economic Opportunity Task Force. We now have a Leading on Opportunity group headed by Andrea Smith and James Ford, who are going to need our help. They are co-chairing that, and they will need our help. We are no longer at a point where they need to do the work. We are they, and we must be involved and engaged. The past elections just told us that the citizens of Charlotte are ready for additional change and they want new direction. And for that to happen, we all have to be all in. And that means supporting economic development for all. And the way business impacts that, obviously, is through job opportunities. And so we are at a point where we've done a lot of planning, a lot of discussion, a lot of reaction. But it's time to move from that planning stage to actively doing the work. And it's going to be hard work, but it's going to get done. And for it to get done and for it to make a difference in Charlotte, the business community has to take the lead. So a couple of weeks ago, we got word about the Amazon opportunity for HQ2. And I was in a meeting. We were firing ideas and people were offering opportunities, and I'll help do this and I'll help do that. And what if we put that same energy behind making Charlotte the best city in America? Amazon would have no choice but to come to Charlotte. We went to our fall planning retreat. We all agreed about being all in and creating job opportunity for everyone associated in our community. One of the things we did was we invited not-for-profit organizations to be part of the retreat because the not-for-profit community is important. They, along with coordination with business and government, working together in a coordinated effort, all in, is how we're going to move our city to the place that it needs to be. Those groups in the non-for-profit world, they're already on the ground. They're doing the hard work today. And for them to be successful, they need us and we need them. So what are we going to do about our challenges? I want to tell you a story about the Millen family from Lake Norman. So Pat Millen is at dinner one night, and his daughter comes home from school, Franny, and Franny comes in and says, "Hey, Dad, today at school I noticed that they put all the assignments on the board, and you got to go to the computer to be able to pull down your homework. But I know that more than half of the people in my class don't have a computer. Daddy, what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about that?" And it was a call to action. So what he did is created an organization called Eliminate the Digital Divide, where they take leftover used computers donated by businesses, used shops at high schools with high school students being paid to clean the computers, and then do a process of getting them back in the hands of those that don't with internet connection for 3 years. That's called taking action and making something happen. Thanks, Franny, for saying, what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about that? And we know one thing, not everybody can donate financially to where we're headed and what we need to do, but everyone has the ability to volunteer and make an impact in our local community. So let me explain how your chamber is addressing this challenge. Andrea mentioned it, we're launching an app tonight designed to engage those who care about Charlotte. It will have business connections, it'll have news, have calendars and discounts. But this app also has something that is very critical to me, and that's an opportunity for you to get involved and engaged in volunteerism in Charlotte. Let's show the video. So we're up and running. So we have a goal tonight. Our goal tonight is we want to have 1,000 downloads out of this group. So we invited some tech experts to come and help you not so ready prepared. But it's a school night and none of the 12-year-olds could make it. So afterwards, you'll see staff members out and available. We want you to download the app and get connected to the Charlotte Chamber. It is connected to the United Way's program of Hands on Charlotte and gives you tons of volunteer opportunities to get involved and engaged. Don't be scared. Try it. Get it out there. Each year, your city we take a trip to a city to learn more about the things that they do well and some things that we may not think they do so well that can make a difference to Charlotte. This year, in 2018, we're going to visit Atlanta. So why Atlanta? Well, Johnny just commented on the importance of connecting our two cities. Number one for us, we're working right now with the Foundation for the Carolinas on the Carolina Theater. Atlanta has a Center for Civil and Human Rights, a place that people from all around the world come and have dialogue around diversity and inclusion and make a difference in the world. Affordable housing is a significant challenge for us in Charlotte. And in Atlanta, they've created the Atlanta Beltline, which is connecting neighborhoods through transportation and motorways, but at the same time engaging in ensuring that affordable housing is involved in everything, putting workforces close to where they need to work. We have the Carolina Panthers, really good Carolina Panthers this year. And we have the Charlotte Hornets, who are also really good. And in Atlanta, they just built 2 new arenas, Mercedes-Benz and the SunTrust Park. And if we're going to compete, we must be prepared to learn and know what we've got to do to keep those franchises as part of our identity as a community. I had the opportunity to live in Atlanta for a couple of years. It's one of the reasons why I think there's some parallels. If you live in Atlanta, the number one thing you hate is MARTA. You hate it. But when the Piedmont Road Bridge fell on I-85, it became the most important transportation mode Atlanta had. And it did not stop their city from its economic activity. 300,000 cars a day go over that bridge. And it made a difference. To Johnny's point, light rail to the airport. How do we connect Lake Norman? How do we bring others and be involved and engaged with where we are? So we hope that you'll join us on our trip to Atlanta. We think it'll be worthwhile. And by then, the chamber will have Johnny's light rail done, and we'll be there in about 35 minutes. So we're looking forward to it. So the areas of focus for 2018, as we talked about, the mission of the chamber is connect, innovate, and grow. And in doing so, our focus is going to be centered on economic growth, talent development, and infrastructure. As we talked about economic growth, it is important to have job opportunities for all. This includes expansion of the existing opportunities we have, as well as recruiting new businesses, entrepreneurs, small business, large business expansions, and continued recruitment of headquartered opportunities to make everything happen here. If we want the Leading on Opportunity Task Force to have the success it needs, it must result in economic mobility for all who are in the Charlotte area. Your chamber will continue working with the Charlotte Regional Partnership on recruitment opportunities, but also implementing plans to ensure that we're doing all we can do to align those efforts to create job opportunities from the starter jobs to the top jobs, to give our community a chance to grow and be special. As the voice of the business community, your chamber is making sure that everyone is heard while focusing on this economic mobility and job opportunity standpoint. Talent development. Ever since I got this job, or agreed to do this job in a bar one night, every time I had the opportunity to do this job, every single business leader has come up and talked about their challenge in talent development. Charlotte is fortunate in one situation. The Avalanche study that was just completed says that we are one of the best communities in America in attracting talent. And we know that by being the #1 place in the world for millennials to show up in America. But what it also said is we are woefully short in developing our own talent. And what that means is we've got to continue to be engaged with CMS, and $900 million plus in bonds was a huge opportunity for us. We've got to be engaged with that. We've also got to help those college graduates go to school in the Charlotte area, be involved and engaged with the great universities that we have, and connect your business with those universities and retain the best and brightest in Charlotte to be as successful as possible. What I have heard from all of the constituencies that have trade opportunities or trade type jobs in construction, manufacturing, et cetera, is they can't find enough talent. We have the largest community college on the East Coast who is well prepared to work with you as a business leader to develop and create the kind of talent that you need. And we're doing it with all kinds of people involved and engaged. So the question is, do people know their opportunities, and do business know the opportunities we have to connect and create a better economy for all? Your chamber is going to take opportunity to do that. Additionally, we work hard on the financial incentives for the big headquarters and bringing them in, but we've also got to start looking at financial incentives to put starter jobs in locations to help people get their first opportunity in moving forward. It's important to make the first step before you can make the next one. And in doing so, what we've got to really look at is places like the Crescent, and ensuring that we're recruiting opportunities there that people can grow their economic fortunes at home. And finally, infrastructure. Atlanta's a good point to talk about infrastructure. And we know that we need to think about traditional infrastructure and what it looks like. But we really need to talk about the connectivity for all of our citizens and their ability to be agile and mobile in our Charlotte market. So let me tell you a story. Andrea took us on a wonderful trip to Dallas last year. It was a great trip. We had a chance to go to a place called City Square, built on the south side of the interstate, really tough area of Dallas, 19 non-for-profit organizations in there, and they have a homeless center that they house the 40 plus most chronically homeless people in Houston. In Dallas, a tremendous facility. So first vice chair, I'm there, I'm excited, I'm talking to the executive director, and I look up, and guess what? The bus has pulled off. I'm the first vice chair of the chamber, they left me. So being the enterprising young man I am, I grabbed my phone, and I went to Uber. So do you know how long it takes to get Uber to accept your ride at the homeless center? The answer in Dallas is 12 minutes. You ever waited 12 minutes for an Uber driver? What it made me think about is in our community, those folks in West Boulevard, or the folks in Greer Heights, the folks that need access and availability? Do we have transportation means and ways for them to be active and engaged? So we have to think about being all in infrastructure so it works for everyone. And yes, traditional roads, et cetera, they matter. But the strategy for the future has to benefit everyone. And I bet you in your business, you're already facing the challenge of people saying, I'm not driving north to south or east to west to work for you. So we know that we've got work to do there. And so the voice of the business community has got to be heard when it comes to talent development, when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to infrastructure. So Charlotte's economic opportunity. Is it for all? Is it? Our goal at the Chamber is to be seen as a leader that helps everyone in this community make a difference and grow their economic opportunity. Join us in these efforts in 2018. Now that's the politically correct old Chamber way of saying, let's go have a drink. So let's try it another way. The greatest generation that came before us, like Johnny's father and others, had visions and did sacrifice and made and built this community to be what it is. It is now our time to steward Charlotte forward. It's going to be really hard work. You saw Johnny on an interview with the Golf Channel on the video. Absolutely one of the best golf interviews I've ever seen, where he did a phenomenal job talking about what Charlotte can do and what it's about. But he made a statement that impacted me that night. And he said, when it came to the PGA Championship and the challenge of putting it on, Charlotte transitioned from a can-do city to a will-do city. And the will of the city was to put on the best PGA Championship in that championship's history. So the question is, when we know we can mobilize and do that, do we have the will to attack the challenges that matter in economic mobility and opportunity? Do we? What will our grandchildren and those after us talk about our time that we've stewarded Charlotte through where it's going and what it's doing? We can't be fearful in this. We have to be aggressive and make a difference. And we have to move from planning and talking about it to addressing the challenges, and it's going to require all of us to be active and engaged. Your chamber is positioned to be a leader in this fight against economic inequality, and we are going to focus our efforts in 2018 on it. And it's time for each and every one of us to get involved and engaged. And we need to start tonight, being active and engaged. The business community must lead this, and we have to demand transformation in what this community is about. We all need to be engaged in the Chamber's efforts to connect and innovate Grow Charlotte. Every one of us needs to be all in on economic growth, talent development, and infrastructure. If we want Charlotte to be the best place in America to do business, if we want to offer economic opportunity to everyone and not be the 50th city out of 50 in opportunity, but the first city, number one, then we have to get off the bench. We have to get off the sideline. We have to get in the game, and it's time to make a difference. All in. Let's go to work.